A year ago today, it was 22. This is Diego. I'm dog sitting right now.
Hey, this is Editing Hannah. Just a heads up, I do move, so the dog and cat will not be wallowing me the whole video, okay? Just a heads up.
2025 was a year ago. Let that settle in. Hey guys, 2025 was a big year for lots of people. A lot of big events happened. For me, it was a big reading year. I read probably the most books I have since I was like in 3rd grade. I don't know the exact count, but I'll put it up right here in editing. So it was a really big reading year for me. I was trying to get off social media, and so I, instead of picking up my phone, would try to pick up a book. That really helped me out a lot in reading. The disclosure, it's been a little bit, it's been like a year for some of these books since I've read them. So obviously I don't remember the whys and the whos and the whats. This is my 3rd time filming this video. I have tried to film this video 3 times in the past like 3 or 4 months. And then I filmed one and I didn't finish it because my sister got home and I got sidetracked. So let's start with the books. So the first book that I read of the year is Veil of Winter by Melanie Dickerson. I gave it a 1 star. I wrote that on my notes. Repetitive storyline, conflict resolution was too fast, and second book was alright. So I'm trying to think what Veil of Winter was even about. I know with Melanie Dickerson, her books are very like same storyline, same tropes, same, like if you like that trope, then go for it. If you like that storyline, read all her stuff. I do remember liking the second book though. I think I read that at some point, guys. I read that at some point throughout the year. The next book that I read was The Blonde Identity. I gave that 4 stars. I liked the spy vibe and the plot twist in it. It was like confusing in a good way. Like it kept me on my toes. I couldn't remember what I didn't like in it. I probably wouldn't read it again, but like I wasn't hating it as I was reading it. Thieves Gambit. I gave that 4 stars. I loved the pacing and I loved the heist vibes. I love a good heist spy movie. I was going through a phase, if you can't tell. I originally thought that it was the Inheritance Games because of the font. And then I would suggest that book. If you like a good heist book, it's pretty good. There's 2 of them, both of them alright. Like probably a good traveling book, I was. Next, I read The Summer of Broken Rules. I gave it 4 stars. It was alright. It was predictable, and there were some questionable choices made by the main characters, but it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. That's like my book ratings. Like I either hate it, I love it, or it's meh. It was meh. I'm gonna move. The next book I read was Heist Royale, which is a Thieves Gambit sequel. It was alright. I gave it a 3 stars. I can't remember anything about this book except someone falls through ice. The next book I read was Assistant to the Villain. The next book I read was Assistant to the Villain, which I gave 5 stars. I loved the first book. I loved the wit. I loved the characters. Everything about the first book is a 5-star book for me, and I love it. But I will say, suggesting it wise, I think I've said this before, like it's a little gory. Things in it that happen are a little much, I guess. And I said this before in the last video when I suggested it. I liked the first 2, but the 3rd one was a little too freaky for me. Just a heads up. In case you're like, have a freaky meter, and it just pushes too much. Like it pushes the freaky meter for me. Next, I read The Betrothed by Kiera Cass, which I gave 1 star, and I feel like that's even just a compliment to give it a star. Like if I could, I'll bet that Amazon review. If I could give 0 stars, I would. For me, the story was everywhere. Like the story just did not have a strong plot or a strong reason to exist. So here's what happened. I read the selection and I was intrigued. I'm like,
hey, I kind of like this writing style, but I don't like the characters, and I don't like how it's paced, and I don't like the overall vibe.
So I went and I picked up the other book that she had tomorrow. That book is
It's just weird. It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't pleasant. I couldn't get into it. I couldn't ever see myself getting into it in any way, shape, or form. I read the first book and I was done. Usually I can push myself through at least the second book. I couldn't even push myself to the second book. I'm tired of making those little in-between things. So just like look up the book if you want to see the picture of it, or stalk me on Goodreads. Then I read Words on Bathroom Walls by Julia Walton. I gave this 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was really eye-opening, and I liked the writing style, how it was like a journal, like he's writing to someone. What happened is I watched the movie, it was really good, and then I got the book, and I read the book and I really enjoyed it. Then I read The Inheritance Game at 4 stars. I liked the mystery aspect, but the one thing that kind of I stopped reading the series at like book 2 was the brother trope. I read Summer I Turned Pretty a couple years ago and it low-key traumatized me. So anytime I see a brother trope, I'm like, And as far as teams go, I'm team Belly. Like I want Belly to work on herself and find happiness outside of a boy or a man. Like Belly needs to figure stuff out before she starts running into these brothers and messing around. I'm team Belly. Also, I hate Belly, so I'm not really like I'm team go figure it out on your own, girl, and then come back and worry about romance. That's just my opinion.
You know what's good for me. That's my opinion!
So then I read Hotel Magnifique by Emily J. Taylor. I give it 3 stars. I read it because it was suggested off of Caraval. I honestly can't remember much besides someone had a wooden finger. And that being like a very big part of the book, if someone had like a wooden like pointer finger or something. I mean, it was it had the same magic vibes as Caraval, but nothing can be Caraval except for Caraval. Then I read The Jewel by Amy Ewing. I give it 3 stars. The Jewel, it was one of those books I just picked off the shelf and I'm like, you know what, this looks kind of interesting. I might give it a shot. It was good. I think there was a second one, but I never finished it. I think I DNF'd that. So I DNF'd the second one, but the first one, it was about like circuits, but like in dystopian land or whatever. So it was a very interesting concept. Definitely a one-time read. I know that there was some things in it that was just kind of like, okay. All right. Fahrenheit 451, I read that sort of, and I gave it 5 stars. I didn't finish the last chapter, but it's a 5-star book. I like a dystopian vibe. This is my dystopian era. I kind of went through like I needed dystopian. I was like, give me a dystopian. Then I read Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I gave that 3 stars. I wasn't head over heels overall for the Powerless series. I did enjoy it, but like I felt like the 3rd one is a nice wrap up. It was kind of predictable in some ways. I mean, I loved the Kai Payton dynamic, but like it's nothing to write home about. And then I read The Hawthorne Legacy. I gave it 3 stars. I don't remember any of it. This is why you need to do your 2025 reading wrap-ups at the beginning of the next year. You need to remember why you didn't like it. Then I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I love the romance vibe and I love the writing style. This was my first time reading it and I was blown away. I was just like, oh my goodness, love is so great. And I was in just like a romantic mood for so long after. Then I read Fable by Adrienne Young. I'm trying to even think about what this was. Okay. All I wrote on my notes were the rage consumes me. I know I didn't really love the main character. Like halfway through it, I just started hating her and I didn't really connect. Like I didn't really care. Like all these times she almost died and I'm like, good, you deserve it. So I know that there was like a really original storyline and I really enjoyed that, and I knew that there were some original characters and like concepts that I liked, and there was a mining aspect to it that I ate up as a Minecraft kid. I love that. Do-Over by Lynn Painter, and I give that 5 stars. I'm telling you, Lynn Painter YA novels hit every time. Like I could read those the rest of my life and be happy. I loved how positive it was, and I love a good repeating day concept. Then I read Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I gave it a 3.25. Remember why? I know I love the world, I love the concept, I just hated the main character because she was a wimp. I DNF'd book 2, and she was still a little chicken, a little wimp, letting everyone else die or do things for her. I really wanted to see, maybe she has that character arc in book 3 and I just didn't get to it. But I did like the concept and I did like the world. This is where I just started like grabbing things off of the library shelf to try to like cleanse my book palette. Then I read Paper Hearts by Ali Novak. I gave it 3.75. It was a really cute, unexpected, fun read. I really do remember reading this book. It was really just a nice, kind of upbeat, cute, but it has a subplot that's kind of deep, but it was a very cutesy book. I would like to see it as a movie, which ironically, Ali Novak wrote My Life with the Walter Boys. So Paper Hearts series on Netflix, question mark? Okay, this is technically 2026, but I started it in 2025. I read Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I gave it a 4.5. I love the fantasy vibes. I love the, like, how I got swept up in it. It did remind me a lot of Powerless. Some of the same things happen, which I've seen that there's, like, allegations against Powerless not being, like, an original story. At the end of the day, like, there's so many stories out there that no story you tell is going to be original in all ways. Like, there's always going to be some part of a story that's going to be in another, because like think of how much time has passed since we started telling stories. But I'm not saying plagiarism is okay. I'm saying I don't know all the info. All I know is that I heard whispers about there being plagiarism issues, which if you want to confirm that, read Dance of Thieves, because it's a little close and I think it was written before. I DNF'd the second book. So to add to my DNF list, I only wrote down 2. I read DNF'd Happy People by Josh Peck. It was a great book. I just didn't have time for it. And then I read Street Freaks by Terry Brooks and I DNF'd it. I think I got a couple pages in it. I just didn't like the writing style. Overall, I feel like 2025 was a great year for consistently reading. I was probably reading a new book every week, which is something that I'm not doing now. Right now, I'm reading The Princess Bride, which is taking me a little bit because it's a lot of descriptive stuff. There's a lot of times where I have to like pause because I'm like, oh, this is a scene from the movie. And then I'll have to like quote the entire movie and then pick up reading, but it is so worth it so far. This is your reminder to make a TBR list, okay? I made a TBR list for 2025 and I didn't read half of it, but I had it up on my wall and I looked at it and I was like, look at all these hopes and dreams. In conclusion, sometimes you won't find a good book, but a good book will find you at the right time, right place. So many of these books were awful and I remember getting in a reading slump because of how bad books were. And I think just keeping reading, you know, trying new genres, even though it's not something I do a lot. I just go dystopian, fantasy, romance, dystopisty. This year, my book goal is going to be 20 books. I think that's a wrap on today's video. This is my 2025 reading of the year. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you please. Tell me your favorite book of 2025 and I will see you guys sometime. I'll see you later. I don't know how I end videos.